Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Pigskin Project YouTube channel. I am Matt Hartman, and today Ben and I talk about everything that happened NFL Week 8 Sunday recap. Kind of a, I call it a snoozy Sunday. Uh, no exciting finishes. The only one that kind of excitingly finished was the Jets and Bengals, and you kind of think of those teams big picture wise. But still, football, regardless, in the NFL is entertaining to talk about and talk about some big picture items as we get deeper into the NFL season. And then at the end, we kind of spend a little bit talking about the LSU job. Brian Kelly out at LSU, so we kind of combined that in with the recap today. So if you're a college football fan, stay till the end because we kind of mentioned a little bit talking about LSU. And if you are a college football fan, make sure to come back to this channel every Wednesday morning, and you can see College Corner, where Ben and I talk everything college football, the recap from the previous week, the preview to the upcoming week, and every major news storyline. And if you want to see the NFL previews early and you want to interact with us live Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on this channel, would be very, very just nice to see people interact with us on those days because those are definitely the best times to interact with us live. But without further ado, let's get you into the recap. All right, joined by Ben, as you heard in the intro, we are here for the Week 8 recap. I went out of my way to name this week, Ben. I don't know if you like this snoozy Sunday. All right. This was a snoozy Sunday because you think about the witching hour, you think about the glory that Scott Hansen is able to deliver us, and the only one that was really able to deliver on that promise was the Jets and the Bengals, which big picture, I don't know if it means anything for either of these teams. But I think we got to start with what happened under the lights. The Packers and the Steelers. You said it right before. The Packers, the second half team, the Green Bay Packers, they're trailing multiple scores, only 7 points in the first half, and they have the second half that they have scoring 28 points, 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals. And Jordan Love, I'm Jordan Love is Mr. Primetime or he's Mr. Toyotathon, all right? Because that guy was phenomenal once again.
Yeah.
Another unbelievable performance, but what did you see from this one?
Yeah, he had at one point in the second half of this game, I think it was like 21 straight completions or something. It's like set the Packers franchise record, at least going back to like Brett Favre, which like congratulations, kid. But you said exactly like what I wanted to say. Like I went into the first half of this game thinking exactly what I thought through the first half of the last two
Oh
games.
no,
Like
they're gonna do it again.
they're going to do it again. The Packers might be bad, but then they turn it on in the second half. They continue to impress me in the second half. And really, the big thing in terms of the Packers that had stood out to me was just the extra dimension that having Christian Watson back brings to
Mm.
this offense. They now have a guy that can reliably stretch the field and act as like a serviceable, good deep threat. And you saw it a couple different moments in this game, and that at times really allowed our offense to kind of get a spark going when they were struggling to do that. And just props to the kid. I mean, tore his ACL in week 18 last year, and for him to come back and have the game he did was just absolutely fantastic. And hey, the Packers keep proving me wrong in the second half. I'm glad they did. We both like the Packers. You definitely more than me, but I'm glad they keep proving us right.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to early in that third quarter and what they were facing and the jokes we make about them on third and medium and what was it? They got the Steelers' plan today was every time we get them in third and pass, we're just not going to let them pass. They blitzed every big third down. It felt like, and there was one in particular when they blitzed on 3rd and 5 and they got a one-on-one with Tucker Craft downfield, and just a pop fly. Jordan Love lobs it up there, and Tucker Kraft finds the ball and gets a huge gain out of it. That was the first drive out of half for them, so that was when they were still down multiple scores. So you just think back to that play and how different the game is. You can find little incremental plays throughout a football game to say like that's the point where like if you don't get that one, oh, I don't know, Jim, and they got it pretty handily. But I think another thing is just the way the Packers were able to kind of slam the door on defense because we've talked about it all the time, the Aaron Rodgers offense, how everything is within 10 yards and kind of between, the first down marker. Like they were slamming down on those routes all
Yeah.
night long. And Rodgers makes the stats look better, throws for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. 75 of that came on like the final drive of the game when the game's already out of reach. But I thought Jalen Warren had a pretty good game, but for the most part, I think this was another coronation for the Packers of like, hey, this is still one of the top teams in the NFC and still one of the top teams in the league, but we're still like, man, can you be the number one team? Is
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at, but yeah, we move on. Do you want to take this? We'll take this to the one game that kind of delivered on chaos in a way today. The Jets get their first win on a day that was very ceremonial for them with the passing of Nick Mangold. And for them to get it in this way and to have, the Justin Fields interview after the game where he has to literally like talk about how his owner called him out this week, and he's like, "Well, that's outside noise." Yeah, your literal owner of the team is now declared outside noise. Now, is where the Jets are. But just for them to just bigger than football, for them ceremoniously to get this win and to get it in the fashion that they do, where they're down 14 in the fourth quarter, and they're down 14 most of this game. It felt like, and
Yeah.
but overall, what we're they don't have to be big picture because I don't think there is anything big picture to take away from these two teams really, but from this game specifically.
Yeah. The big picture goes back to what we had all known about the Bengals going into the season, that this defense sucks.
Yeah.
And like we all knew this defense sucks, but then when you look at like a box score, just like straight up, and you see that they let the Jets of all offenses score 39 points on them, 23 of those coming in the fourth quarter, it really just makes you go woof. Like
500 yards of total offense for the Jets today.
with Justin Fields at quarterback and like no shot, but like we all have our thoughts on Justin Fields and who he is at this point in his career, and for you to let the Jets kind of walk you down when they needed to with 23 points in the fourth quarter, it's not a good sign at all. Again, we kind of knew it was going to be a lost season for them with the Joe Burrow stuff and everything, but Joe Flacco at points made you get a little excited. Like, could the Bengals do this? But if you're going to let up 39 points to the Jets, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback.
And I mean that was the thing too is it felt like the entire build up to this game from Thursday Night Football where they win unexpectedly. They're now sitting at 3-4. All anybody could do is I love when people do the schedule game. I do it sometimes, but I love when people really like do the schedule game where it's like, well, they're going to face the Jets. They're going to be favored against the Jets. They're going to beat the Jets. And then they'll face the Bears, and then they'll get a bye week, and then they'll get the Steelers again. Like, oh man, could the Bengals have 6 wins by the time X game happens? And then football happens, and you realize this is still, like you mentioned it perfectly, this is still the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Trey Hendrickson leaves midway through this game. They're able to have literally as balanced as it gets for a football team, the New York Jets today. 254 on the ground, 248 through the air. 4 of those from Brees Hall and the game-winning touchdown pass, by the way. He was phenomenal in this one. But just I mean, for the Jets to finally squeak one out, I think it's just sometimes the pressure of it all. Like a few weeks ago when we talked about the Jets and how I went on the rant about the London game and how pitiful it was. We talked about how like you didn't hire Aaron Glenn because he was like a stacked defensive, guru
Yeah.
kind of guy, like a Mike McDonald. You didn't hire him because of that. You hired him because you're going to set a foundational culture that is going to overall, just bring you slowly up and incrementally up throughout the years. You think about what Aaron Glenn comes from, Dan Campbell not winning a game until like what, his 11th, 12th game. So, yeah, I think Aaron Glenn understands that this is the ground floor. This is essentially rock bottom. But what's so great about rock bottom is you can only get up, and they needed the first one to go through. You needed the first basket to finally go through, and you get it in the way that you do, scoring a ton of points, and just in a way that is just improbable on a
Yeah.
day that was so monumental for the franchise and for the fan base. So I can't help but root for the Jets today. Let's move on to one of our games of the week we talked about this week. The Broncos put 44 points on the Dallas Cowboys in a game that, I mean, the scoreboard is even closer than it should have been because Joe Milton comes in and he gets a touchdown to make the scoreboard look better. But I mean, 77 points for the Broncos in their last 5 quarters. I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, I make that they've played two bad defenses. It's and I don't want to like discredit what Bo Nix has done in those last 5 quarters because he has looked good, but it has been two bad defenses that they have been able to
Hmm.
do that against. I mean, we went into this game saying like, well, it doesn't matter if Dallas lets teams put up 40 points on them if their offense is going to look as good as their offense has looked through the first 7 weeks of the season. But then they came out and they ran into a brick wall that is the Broncos defense. And even without Pat Surtain for the majority of this game, I mean, this defense was just flying everywhere. It was hard for them to just consistently get anything done. Dak just looked confused, which was weird to say because he's a very cerebral player. So for him to look confused throughout certain points of this game was just kind of odd and strange, but that's what happens when you play this Bronco defense. And again, that was without Pat Surtain. Dak Prescott, 2 interception day. And if Dak Prescott's going to throw 2 interceptions and this offense isn't going to be able to produce, you're going to continue to get games like this because we all know what this defense is going to look like for them. So if the offense is struggling, it's just going to be a bad, bad, bad football game for the Cowboys every week.
The other thing I love about this is like the fact that the Broncos have so many horses. They were able to right before the half when it's a 17-point game. They're able to call 2-man out of dime personnel, and it's like usually when you're bringing your dime DB, your fourth DB on the field, Sertan's already kind of in and out of the lineup. The fact that they could still bring Jahdae Barron, who is a top 20 pick, and won the Thorpe Award last year in college football, and just match him speed, just right on Jake Ferguson right away, and it creates a turnover. It creates, you think about Aubrey and where he can kick from. Like that's 3 points off the board for Dallas in that moment. It's just how many horses they have in a given football game. And then like back to the Broncos offense. We talked about the Broncos offense this week on the preview show because I'm just curious about them. I don't know if they have taken that level up to go from, hey, 10-7, like wild card team, they're fun to like, hey, I got to take them seriously about winning this division and maybe being a 1 seed contender. Today, I still like my same questions about Bo Nix under pressure were not answered because he was pressured 3 total times today. So, like, again, just from a course of a game, and we'll learn more about the Broncos. Like, you got Houston on the schedule, like, coming right up. So it's like, if we want to learn about Bo Nix under pressure, we'll learn about it. But just specifically that, for them to continue to just tally up wins no matter who it is. And then for Dallas, this was a game that I wanted to see if Dallas like if Dallas won this game, was this team really going? Because I know they've been in the buzz about making a trade for Hendrickson and Crosby and things like that, and those are just like Dallas media kind of pumping out like, "Hey, look at
Yeah.
Jerry." But like, was there a real move on the table if they won this game and beat a really, really good Broncos team, to kind of push full and say, "Hey, we got to get good players on defense and really go for this thing." Now, I'm not. I'm not
No.
so sure that it's going to just be a hey, maybe hopefully we figure it out. Hopefully Nealon or Ezaraku or Sam Williams come along and become like a pretty decent edge rusher and we can find a really, really good one. If only they had a top tier edge rusher to just drop in and they could 4-man rush all
Yeah.
the time. If only they had
If
one, but
only.
they they don't. They don't anymore, at least. So, but I digress. The Broncos win another one. Um, let's go to the Niners and Texans just because I mentioned it. So the Niners finally ran into a good defense. That's kind of what happened here.
Yeah.
I this one was kind of in the corner of my eye most of the day. I'll be honest. So like but there was at a point where we were late in the second quarter and the Texans were moving up and down the field and the 49ers had yet to register one first down in this game. So you just think about that and how they maneuvered in this game. CJ Stroud was phenomenal. Like he finally has a stat line that we look up and say that's the guy that we remember from a few years ago. But yeah, what did you see?
No, well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is to that
Uh-huh.
CJ Stroud point, it's amazing what happens when you can keep this guy clean. They
Hmm.
didn't give up a sack. They only let up two QB hits. Given it's against a very questionable pass rush, especially with their lead horse going down, they're still trying to find someone that can step in and kind of create that pressure. But when you can keep him alive and not fighting for his life every single time he has to throw the football, you can get results like this. And this is coming on a game that he doesn't have Nico Collins, where Xavier Hutchinson was his number one like target.
Hmm.
It's crazy, and the fact that he was able to again put up these stat lines, he really spread the ball out across the entire field. We saw Xavier Hutchinson get 5 catches, Jalen Noel get 5 catches, Braxton Berrios. Shocked that dude's still in the NFL. No shot. But I mean, Braxton Berrios getting 5 catches, Dalton Schultz getting 2 catches. So he was really able to spread the ball around in this game without your Nico Collins, your number one guy there. And again, when you give him time, you can get results like this.
Yeah.
And again, on the flip side of this, Mac Jones, it was fun those couple games. It was fun to watch when you're beating up on bad defenses. But it's a game like this where you're like, okay, we need Brock Purdy back. Brock Purdy, please,
Yeah.
please come back. So
Yeah, because like even with Purdy, it's like he's gonna take some crazy sacks against these guys, but like at least you have a chance to maneuver around like a Will Anderson or a Daniil Hunter,
yeah,
where it's like Mac Jones has no chance at all. And there was just so many times like his lone or what was it? He didn't have one. He had two touchdowns, but that touchdown prior to half to Kittle where he just like sends a prayer up. Like he just lobs that
yes,
one into the end zone and says, "Please go find it, George." And Kittle eventually does, but you just think about that. I think that on the other side of the ball, the Niners defense, like I think that Falcons performance might be a one-time event, or maybe it's just a sporadic event. Maybe it's not a week-to-week consistency thing because you just think about the players that they are relying on week in and week out now with all those injuries. But yeah, this was not the day for them, and the pass rush, much like we talked about with Dallas, like it's just not there. It's just not at a level that they have so many young guys, and I think Alf Collins went out during this game.
yes.
You just so many young guys throughout that front four that are still just trying to figure it out, and I think that again the reasoning behind it is you have Nick Bosa, and everybody can slowly come up because of Nick Bosa, but yeah, I again for Stroud to have this performance is a good thing to see. The division feels out of the realm of
Mm-hmm.
possibilities. Like they're still fighting a major uphill battle in that sense, but I mean, this puts them back into it. Like in the wild card race, it's like we have this defense. We can punch above our weight limit here every once in a while. So let's see what we can do. But yeah, uh, let's move on to another one. The last one before we hit a little break here. The Bears are down to the Ravens, 30-16, with some controversy on Saturday. So Lamar Jackson practices in full, or so we are led to believe, and then last second, he is deemed the walkthrough quarterback, which is the emergency QB3. So they have to change his practice require or like change his status from full to limited, and then rule him out. And so they just last minute uh, ruled him out. He did not play. They put Snoop Huntley in, and didn't seem to be any drop off. I again, like
Well,
they mentioned it. They mentioned it on this on the broadcast, which is it's this Bears defense, man. I the way this defense is strategically built, I don't like these defenses, and it's why I was so against Pittsburgh forever. Is like they are so reliant on turnovers and takeaways and just getting these short fields set up for their offense. Come to me when they have zero. Come to me when they don't create a splash play on defense. Tell me what it looks like. And it looks like this. And it looks like an inevitable game against Tyler Huntley where, prior to the season, he's the Browns QB4. Like he's nowhere to be found on an NFL roster, and maybe that's NFL evaluators' problem more so than any, whatever. But still, like for it to look like this on the defensive end, I get they're missing a ton of DBs, man. I get it. But they registered a pressure on 3 total plays. It, I don't know. I don't know. They spent on like they've paid Montez Sweat good money.
yes.
It's just what did you see from this one?
First off, respect Pro Bowl quarterback Snoop Huntley. Let's not forget that.
Yes, I will
All right.
respect the Pro Bowl alternate Snoop Huntley.
Thank you.
I'm
No, but
sorry.
well, and it was funny too because you talked about the look ahead schedule, but I'll get into that in a second. This was just a game where like neither team could really convert in the red zone. Like it was just awful to watch. Like it
Yes,
was just
yeah.
it was, it was just yucky football. Like it was just not fun to watch. Both teams just seemed to stall out whenever they got in the red area. It was just it was just not fun. Uh, that being said, I mean the Ravens, the Ravens are 2-5 right now. All of that being said, they're only 2 games back from the division. And again, I know we just spoke a little bit about people doing the look ahead game on the schedule, but they're 2 games back in the division, and their next 6 games are the Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, and Steelers. Like this, despite all of the struggle that has been going on through the first 7 weeks of the season for the Ravens, they're still very much in a position where they can still make the playoffs just because they're benefiting from the really bad division that they're playing in this
Hmm.
year. Like, and can't rule that out of a possibility, especially considering Lamar Jackson's going to be back. This defense looks good. Roquan Smith seems like he's in full health finally. Like it is within reaching distance for the Ravens to still possibly make a playoff push. And again, they're not a team that we can easily rule out, kind of like we thought they might have been able to through the first 6 weeks of the season. Um, but again, back to the Bears. Uh, you know, sorry, Ryan, to our third co-host. Caleb Williams might just be like bad, like not like bad, but like he's. I really haven't seen a whole lot for me to believe he's going to turn into the number 1 overall pick that we saw, or that we like thought he was going to be when they drafted him 2 years ago. It's just again, it's just continuous struggle with him putting all of it together, and like it is awesome that you can do these fun things but let's get the basics down first. Let's learn how to throw a 10-yard pass over the middle of the field before we start drooling and oohing and eyeing over the crazy stuff that he can do with his feet when he has to,
Mm-hmm.
because it's awesome that you can do all that, but it's not going to matter if you can't even get the basics down to play the quarterback position. And again, he's learning a new offense. I'll continuously say it when talking about Caleb Williams, but it's just a rough watch every single time I see him play football.
They mentioned that on the broadcast about talking about like an interview with Ben Johnson and how he was talking about how it's like it's everybody's so excited to think about like next year because you're gonna have this whole like just this whole palette of film in this offense and figuring out what we want to do and how we want to attack. But yeah, man, I can't help but agree. Like right now, because I just don't like this. You and I don't like to speak definitively about these quarterbacks that we watch
Yeah.
from college. Like Caleb's one of the better prospects I've ever seen, but like right now he's really bad. He's really bad. But at the same time, it's not like the past where it's like I don't feel good about the play calling. I don't feel good. I feel good about the infrastructure. I really, really do.
Yeah.
The run game was, the run game was good in the first quarter, and after that, kind of went bare. And I think it was a scoreboard thing where they're chasing points and they didn't want to run the ball. But like when they got back to it later, in one of those later drives where they cut it close with a touchdown drive, they got back to the run game, or they got back to a little like soft screen game to Swift in open space, like things like that. They did really well, but yeah, man, it's just the offense coming down to it. I just don't think the quarterback is good enough right now, and just putting that pointing plain and simple. Like he's swinging 7 points later in this game. Like that
Yes.
interception is just bad. You can't throw that interception. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes from here for him. I still believe in him as a player and as a theory, but right
Yes.
now it's a lot of he's processing faster than last year, but like the accuracy
Yes.
stuff is still troubling that I don't like. They ran a lot of play action in those first three drives. I think it was like that. There was an emphasis. There was a lot of boots. There was a lot of slide plays. There was a lot of like, off platform, get him out of the pocket. And then once they kind of drifted into that true drop back stuff, that's where it started getting pretty ugly. But those were the main five that we were going to hit in this first part. When we come back, we'll hit on all the other games of this snoozy Sunday. Time out. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. It really, really helps us out. It helps push out the algorithm to so many different new fans of the channel. But I'll let you get back to the video. And we are back. It is Matt. It is Ben. We are continuing to talk Week 8. Let's move on and start with the rest of the six-pack of games we didn't hit in the intro. Let's talk about the Birds. They beat the Giants, Ben. Oh, thank goodness they beat the Giants, because
Oh
I
my goodness.
swear the sky could have been falling if this result was different.
No, it,
But
it,
I'm
it
I'm gonna let you
absolutely
take it
could
first.
have.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. The sky could have absolutely been falling. Nick Sirianni, you would have heard Eagles fans across the world calling for Nick Sirianni's job, as they do 3-4 times every season. But we avoid that. Jalen Hurts continues to look fine. I mean, like, it wasn't impressive like passing total for him. I think it was like 179 yards. But he had like 4 touchdowns on the day. But first thing I want to touch on it, man. That the Cam Scataba stuff is heartbreaking. Like watching that live, it was just sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to throw up seeing it. It was sick, and it's just heartbreaking for the player, considering he's a fourth-round pick and kind of the storyline that follows him, and for him to really breathe life into this Giants organization, and for it to then happen the way it did, it's sad, it's sickening, and obviously prayers for a speedy recovery for him. But on the flip side of that, Eagles ground game is back finally. I mean, Saquon opened up on the very first drive, hit like a 60, I think it was like a 69-yard touchdown, something like that, something crazy, just busted it off. It
Yeah.
was fantastic. We were all waiting for Saquon to have that Saquon game, and he finally did, which is it just warms my heart. He had 150 yards rushing, another 24 in the air, and 2 touchdowns. And then like he left the game for some reason or another. He'll be fine. But then like Tank came in and Tank had 104 yards in his own right. Like Tank Bigsby said on this podcast here. But they were
Higher
finally
success rate today than Barkley on rush attempts. Just
yeah,
saying. Just saying.
this is true. But so it was good to see the Eagles come back, addressing the elephant in the room as well. The officiating in this game was awful. Like it was really, really bad. This is coming from an Eagles fan who benefited. It went bad on both sides, but the Eagles definitely benefited from it more than the Giants did. And again, each and every week, it seems like there's a play that we're like, yes, this is the play that like we're gonna look back on and say this is why the tush push is banned. And we get another one of them this week. It should have been a fumble. They called the whistle, said it was forward progress was stopped when it absolutely wasn't, which ended up resulting in Eagles scoring points. Again, I just got to cherish the tush push while I still have it this year because there is no way
Yep.
it makes it into next year.
Yep.
That really is what it is. But I'm just glad the Eagles were able to win this game in a fairly dominant fashion too. I mean, the Giants were able to score a touchdown late in the game to make the box score look a little bit better. But the Eagles very firmly looked like the better team out on the field today.
Yeah, that was where I wanted to start first. Is that we've officially lost the plot with the tush push that the officials don't know how to deal with it. They really
It's
don't.
awful. It's
Like
bad.
I can make the jokes about like, oh, they just false start every play and oh man, this is only benefiting the Eagles, but like for them to literally have the play be around this whole moving forward and pushing him forward across the line, like to say that his forward progress is ever stopped, I think is pretty rough when you just see
Yeah.
him moving. And I think that's the point that I think because we've talked about this, like they were really close, and the people that are on the side of voting it out of the league are not going to change their minds now. The only people that can theoretically change their minds if they bring this up to vote again are the people that voted to keep it. So you think about
Absolutely.
that, the only people it can only change. And so yeah, I wanted to hit on that first. And again, like I don't think I'm not like anti tush push, but we've officially hit the
It's
point
bad.
where it can't be. So what I think they need to do, they need to have a game. All right, they need to have a game or a drive. I just want to see it run every single play, just to see what happens, and cycle in new linemen, cycle in tight ends to do the tush push because I know Mark Andrews does it in Baltimore sometimes. But
Yeah.
talking about the football game at hand, this was one of the better Hurts games. I thought just him outside of like the sacks, he's just going to take. Like he's just going to take the sacks. I thought he was accurate downfield. I loved the play to Dotson down the left sideline. But just overall, what he was seeing pre-snap and converting from it, and just the concept blending that they are bringing together. Like one of Goddard's touchdowns was kind of like a play action, boot to the right. So you don't really
Hmm.
see that stuff out of this offense. So to see this kind of get blending in a way that it's getting opened up, and don't worry, it's getting opened up
Yes.
in the passing game, and it also helps to have 276 rush yards and I mentioned it before. I mentioned the Bigsby stat, but 67% success rate on rush attempts is pretty insane, and so they achieved that today. And then I'm gonna go back and watch some Jackson Dart this week, and this will be. I think we're finally at the amount of games that I can sit back and look at all the dropbacks and kind of see where he is as a player at this point. Kind of just, hey, he's a chaotic pocket player who doesn't
Yes.
play well within it, and he makes some crazy stuff happen, but he takes some bad sacks and he throws some bad interceptions. That's kind of
And
where I'm going into it, and I don't think it was any different today. So,
no, yeah, and I'll leave it at this with Jackson Dart in this game. I think at the high end of it, and this is like if he reaches everything that you would hope he can reach, I think you can hope that he's like a Baker Mayfield esque player,
mhm.
and like that's where I think his ceiling is. And Baker Mayfield is a very good quarterback. Like I'm not saying that in like a bad or like derogatory or negative
Yeah,
way, but I think his ceiling is like Baker Mayfield. I think they play very similar. I think Dart's a little bit quicker. In terms of like actually moving than Baker, but I think that's probably roughly what we could expect his ceiling to look like.
yeah, and then because I didn't touch it, like this Gatabo injury happening at this time is another blow to just like this. He is one of those like the culture believers. Like he's
Yes.
one of those culture setter players because like it's just like as many jokes as we can make about him. He is truly turned a corner and helped this franchise believe in itself again and believe like I think he's helped Brian Dable believe in himself as a head coach
Hmm.
because of what they've done the last few weeks. So, yeah, to lose him middle of the season, rest of the season, much like what was it, Tyreek? They had to have surgery this, tonight or today, whatever, to just repair it right then and there. So again, like long recovery, he's gonna be back, no doubt about it. But it's still a bummer regardless. Then we move on. Drake May. How could we
Drake
not
May.
talk about Drake May? Rough first half. Miles Garrett had. Let's start. Just talk about Miles Garrett for a second. Miles Garrett had 5 sacks today. Miles Garrett was
Five
incredible
sacks.
today. He was lining up on both sides of the formation and just making plays happen. But then Drake May had his second half and was able to, he hit Kayshawn Booty downfield, down the left sideline in this one to score a touchdown, and just what he's able to do, it's so little. He might be like a top 3 scrambler in football. Like
Yeah.
seriously, just his feel for the space and the way that he can get to the top of his drop and still never feel like you have him in a sense. It's just so incredible to watch, and it's why he is just I shouldn't say slowly, but like insanely quickly become one of my favorite players to
Yeah.
watch in the entire league. But what did you see from Drake May in this one?
Yeah, well, in terms of Drake May of it all, like I am just continue to be impressed by the fact that they can just piece together like this makeshift like pass catching unit, and he continues to look as good as he does. Like
Yeah,
he does not have a star wide receiver. I mean, he has Stephon Diggs, but where's Stephon Diggs at? Who is he at this point in his career? Honestly, and I mean, he's making guys like Kayshawn Butte look like a fantastic wide receiver because he's that good of a quarterback. And again, I'm continuously impressed by how well he can operate this offense with a less than stellar pass catching core, and it's just going to be great in 2 to 3 weeks from now when he's throwing the football to Chris Olave.
I don't think that one's gonna happen. I don't I
I
don't think
know,
that
I
one's
know.
gonna happen. But one last hit. Trevian Henderson finally got to touch the football today, and
Yes.
he had 10 carries for 75 yards, and then on one of his like last carries of the game, fumbled the ball. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe that like. I just like laughed at it at the end of the game because it's like this is all Vrabel's gonna remember. This is all Josh McDaniels is gonna remember. Like what they were doing, getting him to the edge, in the run game with a ton of tosses and outside zone, and just seeing the difference in him and Ramondre Stevenson. Like I think Stevenson has a purpose in a backfield, but what Henderson can do in space and the way they formulated space for him was just it was great today. But the fumble at the end of the game did make me chuckle to myself because it's like that's all that is going to be talked about inside the facility.
Yeah.
But then touching on the Browns just a tiny bit. Didn't know Malachi Corley was on the football team until he had a big carry today. I really didn't. And then uh, Dylan Gabriel, he played football today. Like I don't have anything to take away from the Dylan Gabriel experience. This is all to get them to their next quarterback, and maybe we see Shador. I don't know, but
That's
just
that's a big
yeah,
question. Is that at what point are you just like, well, we know what you like. Like we
and
know what
Stefanski has
Dylan.
already come out and said they're going into the bye. Like Gabriel's still going to be the guy after the bye. So I this is
Yes,
not like a maybe they go in the bye and make a tweak. No, they've already said they're not.
absolutely. But at this point, we know, and it's crazy to say this because he's played like 4 games in the NFL at this point. But we know what Dylan Gabriel is. Like we knew who he was when you drafted him. We has played exactly the way we thought he was. At what point are you just like, let's throw Shador in there. Let's see what this
Yeah,
kid has. And I'm wondering if they tried it all this season. I would be very disappointed if they didn't at least give it a shot to see what the kid
hmm
has. Despite how I feel about him or how I felt about him, it can't really get much worse. I mean, you're not winning games. He's not turning over the ball a crazy amount or anything, Dylan Gabriel, but he's not doing anything to put your team in position to win, or at least Shedeur Sanders has somewhat of the ability to do that.
I mean he was able to make Miles Garrett in a game that he had 5 sacks slam his helmet in frustration. So I feel
Exactly.
like that's got to count for something, right? That's got to count for like
Yeah.
at least a little bit. But yeah, this was all about the Patriots, and just don't look now, everybody. Uh, they're 6-2. They're 6-2, and still first in the division, and everything is still looking up for them in terms of the schedule ahead. Look ahead, in terms of them, like they've got a game against Atlanta and then Tampa Bay and then Thursday night football against the Jets at home. So you think about those games and how again incredibly winnable all of those games are. They're just continuing to churn out wins and be the better football team. Uh, how did Tennessee let Mike Vrabel walk? I continue to just
Ugh.
be amazed by that. But we move on. Let's get into let's continue with the AFC East blowout victories. The Bills just squished the bug that is my belief in the Carolina Panthers this week. 40-9. James Cook had 216 rush yards in the third quarter. Didn't go for the record. Didn't like that. I the single game record I want someone to go for in rushing because it's just so incredibly hard to break. But yeah, some technical difficulties, but again, we find ourselves back. Ben got a new camera, so things around his house
Woo!
just tend to pop off. But Ben, we talked about how my love for the Panthers and how it got squished like a bug, but and hitting on James Cook. But what did you see from this game? Because you were one to kind of we talked about this on the preview show. You called him fake right to my face when I presented all the facts. The Panthers were good, man, and you saw right through it, and you were right. But what did you see from this one?
It was just more in terms of the Panthers. It was just a lot of it stemmed from the quarterback, not even so
Yes.
much the defense of it all, but the defense was just awful. I mean, obviously the quarterback play was awful today as well. But it was mainly the defense that I was like, like at least they have a good defense. Like they'll make it work. And then James Cook said, "Hold my jock strap." And they said, "Matt, you said we have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. We'll show him for believing in us."
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
for me, there's not a whole lot of takeaways. This is not quite this bad, but I wasn't convinced that the Panthers were a good team. I thought they were going to be a bad team. Again, I didn't think they were going to be this bad on the ground. But again, when the one thing you can hang your hat on was your defense, and that doesn't show up, you're not going to be able to stay in this game. But hey, Tedero McMillan, he finally had a good game. A lot of it just stems from the fact that like Andy Dalton was just like force feeding him the football. Like
Yep.
Andy Dalton's like, please just take it. I don't want to throw it to anyone else. I'm only throwing it to Tedero
That's
McMillan.
the
But
AJ Green in him.
yes, exactly. But he a yard shy from his first 100-yard game. He had 7 catches on 10 targets. Again, 99 yards. So that was a fun takeaway from it all. That we were able to see Tedero McMillan given garbage time. It didn't really matter how many targets and yards he had, uh, but we were able to kind of see Tedero McMillan play well, which is a plus.
Yeah, the score of 40-9 is a little bit skewed because of like some of the short fields that Andy Dalton was able to like ridiculously set up in this game. Like he threw one of them where it was like the what was it, the Van Ginkel screen against
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones last year, where he just literally just jumps up. I think it was AJ Epinesa. Just jumps up right as the ball is snapped and intercepts it, and he's tackled at the one. But for the most part, yeah, Dalton. There was like a part of me that it was like, hey, I don't think he's gonna be better than Bryce Young. Like
No.
even if I'm as low as I am on Bryce Young, and anybody as low as Bryce Young, I was like, there's a chance where I don't think he's gonna be better, but he could do what Bryce Young was doing. Except he's gonna get sacked 7 times and throw the worst interception you've ever seen, and then fumble in one of the worst spots you've ever seen twice. Like just I don't.
uh,
It was a bad day for the Carolina offense, and again another performance in which like you think about some of their games this year, specifically against New England and specifically against Buffalo, and it's just like you remind yourself they are so far away. They are just so far away from actually being like a a down to down contender in the
yeah.
NFC. Even if those are AFC teams, those are contenders in the other conference. But they still have a pretty mighty schedule. They get to face the Packers next, but I still hold out hope that this team could be plucky, the rest of the year after what
Yeah.
I presented this week.
Yes, and they very well could be. It's honestly the most fun part about this game was what happened post game, and the little scuffle that happened between Deion Dawkins and Ashawn Robinson. But that's really the only fun that had happened in this game, unless you enjoy Andy Dalton just like shitting down his leg against the Bills defense. But it was pure domination by one of the better teams in the NFL against one of your bottom feeders. That's still how I view them. I know you still have a little bit of hope in them
Yeah, I can't have too much hope in them. I wanted to believe that they could win this game and be like, hey, we could be a playoff team, but that's ship kind of sails on that one today.
Yeah.
Next, we move on to probably one of the more surprising results of the entire day, if not the most. The Dolphins completely ransack the Falcons. Late decisions made on Michael Penix is not going to play, and then even later decision made that Drake London's not going to play, and so you're thinking, oh, it's. I bet a lot of people. I saw someone in one of my fantasy leagues this week like pick up Darnell Mooney. Said it's going to be a big Darnell Mooney game. He had 1 catch for 11 yards, so it was not a big Darnell Mooney game. But uh, you just think about everything the Dolphins have been through this year. For them to get this one and to get it in the way that they have, like in the way that they did, I it delays the inevitable. It just delays the inevitable to me. I'm not gonna sit here and just all of a sudden buy stock in this quarterback and regime.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but it's good to get one. Much like the Jets, it's good to get one. I know it's not as monumental of a day, but still, like I don't know. This doesn't change any outlook on the Dolphins to me.
No, it absolutely doesn't. I still think the Dolphins are one of the worst teams in the NFL. It just so happens that you catch the Falcons in one of their dips. We had talked about it going into the week that it's just going to be a long roller coaster ride for the Falcons where they're going to have very fun weeks where they're all the way at the top and we're like, well, yeah, Falcons are good. And then it's going to dip down. And we're like, whoa, the Falcons might be one of the worst teams in the NFL. And it just seems like it's just going to be a really long roller coaster ride for them this season. And for the most part, you can pretty much justify that because, by all intents and purposes, Michael Penix is a rookie quarterback. But Michael Penix wasn't the guy in this game. You have this vet that you paid all this money to come out. We all know where Kirk Cousins is at this point in his career. But, again, it's easy to justify it when it's Michael Penix playing because he's a young quarterback. But it wasn't Michael Penix this game. It just, they were not able to get anything going. Again, a lot of it stems from the fact that Michael Penix and Drake London were hurt in this game. But it was it was pathetic. It was just a very pathetic performance by the Falcons, both on offense and defense. But again, good for one-eyed pirate Tua. He might be better.
Yeah,
With
what
one
was
eye
that, dude? Like, I
he
mean,
might be better with one eye than two.
Tua just has pink eye, and no one said anything all week. Like, I am convinced that is exactly what it is, and nobody said anything until like he's suiting up. It's like, wait, the hell's wrong with his eye? But like, it was just crazy, dude. But Tua today, 0.9 or 0.39 EPA per play on an average depth of target of 4. That's an insane outlier, but like, hey,
Yes.
it worked. It worked today. It worked today. But they ran the ball pretty well. Like I don't want to shit all over it, but they ran the ball well enough, and the Falcons are it's. I mean, we'll talk about my team, but like it's still the NFC South, man. It could look different for stretches, but at the heart of hearts, it's still the NFC South, and this one was no different.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the Falcons, like I mean, just I can't believe they paid this guy that much money that last year, and like this is what they were gonna get, and
It's
it's just
KOC,
like,
dude.
yeah,
Applause to KOC.
He's good. He's good. Except it like the Wentz thing, but still.
Yeah.
Then we move on. We'll hit on this one and then hit on my game. But the Titans lose to the Colts. This one went as everybody kind of expected. The Colts continue to just be like, I know I say the same exact phrase. They continue to be a juggernaut. They continue to be really good. But when a team continues to score 38 points every single week, and Jonathan Taylor is able to have the performance that he has today, I'm going to just come on here and be like, yeah, they're still the best team in football, and it's still really, really weird to like have that phrase out loud because of like our preconceived notions before the season. But yeah, I mean, they're not doing anything crazy. Did you have anything to hit on?
No. I'm gonna be frank. I didn't watch this game at all. It was
Mhm.
red zone only. I knew what the result of this game was gonna be before the game even happened. I was able to see Jonathan Taylor have a cool couple fun runs for touchdowns and whatnot.
He
But
hates National Tight End Day. I
he
needed Warren to score, and he didn't. Heartbreaking.
heartbreaking. But again, there's just not any takeaways. This is exactly how you would have thought this game was going to go. Titans bad, Colts good. Okay, we didn't learn anything new in this game. Cam Ward is frustrated as always, as he should as well, given he hasn't shown much for you to be excited about. But still a fun little storyline to follow is the frustration
I
from Cam
didn't
Ward.
I didn't realize that Jermaine Pratt was like playing a lot for this team until today.
Mm-hmm.
Like he got a few tackles. I'm like, who the hell is that? And that they said his name. I'm like, whoa, didn't know that one. And he was making some tackles in open space. But that like the last thing to hit on is like Dude, these receivers are so good. Like all three of them today, and not even mentioning what Warren is, and not even mentioning like the Jonathan Taylor's touchdown he has, but like Pittman's able to have a PI on him, a DPI, and he just one arm catches it. Alec Pierce is able to have a 50-yard downfield catch in which he just completely boxes out the corner like a ridiculous basketball player. And then Josh Downs has a touchdown in the red zone where he literally separates himself, and they score on that play. Like, it's just these receivers are so good. And I even going into the season, like, I knew this could be the offensive, like, oh, the offensive line gets to a place that's good, and the receivers are really good. The receivers are really, really good. That I'm having so much fun watching them. But and then the Titans side, it's just, I saw someone on Titans Twitter who was like, "Has anybody ever fired the interim before? Let's see if we can do that." So that I laughed at that. But it continues to be Cam and the young guys and see if they can figure it out. I bet it's not fun to watch week to week as a Titans fan. I know it from personal experience right now. But just overall, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe you get Steve Sarkisian. Maybe. Who knows? I know that was I know that was a talking point. But yeah. Last thing we'll hit on, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the New Orleans Saints 23-3. Ben, I left here with something. All right, the Baker Mayfield hype is dead. The MVP race is dead for Baker Mayfield because of the stats he put up today. But for real, the defense was really good for the Saints today. I thought
the goal line stance, though, that was what to open up the game. Like, listen, I mean, props to that defense, man.
How many times have you seen a team go 1 for 8 on gaining a yard at the 1 yard line on goal to go? You don't see that much, but you saw it today. Somebody said it was like the 2025 Saints turn into They're a bad defense for the first 99 yards, and then they're the 85 Bears for the final yard, which I got a good chuckle out of. But yeah, the defense played their asses off, and I was really proud of the defense after the performance that they had, especially on the ground against Chicago. There is something that is like real about this team playing in the dome. I've noticed. They've had a lot of home games this year, but like you just think about the overall defensive energy and overall like physicality and violence that they have in the home games this year, as opposed to the road games. I've just noticing. But you get to the offense, the elephant in the room. Tyler Shuck played the majority of the second half of this game. Came in kind of in a weird situation. I'll be honest, I didn't like it. I didn't think it needed to happen. But again, I understand why it happened. Spencer Rattler had multiple turnovers again in this game. He had 4 in his last game. He had 6 in 6 quarters at one point in time in this game. So I understand why it happened. But I also don't believe Tyler Shuck really took over in a way that it's like, I'm now the guy. I'm now the starter. I'm never in favor of the benching mid-game to bring in another guy who has never played before. Like, it's just, it's hard for me to get on board. But
it worked for the Eagles. But, hey, bench Carson Wentz mid-game, brought in their second-round pick. No, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's just, I think that the entire offense as a whole, like, they didn't produce a single explosive run today, which they only had 15 carries, and it just wasn't like in the cards for them to try and run the ball a lot today. You have the interception to Shuck is literally Antoine Winfield ripping the ball away from Chris Olave because he wanted a turnover touchdown so damn bad. Yeah. That was another funny like comment where it's like, half this game has been Antoine Winfield in the end zone with the ball, and the officials having to explain to him why he did not score a touchdown. And it was so true. And like, he had a valid reason to believe he scored a touchdown on like all 3 plays.
Yes.
the fumble touchdown from Shaheed that he didn't score on was ridiculous. I was like, "Oh, that never goes the Saints' way," but it did. Like that was absolutely a fumble, absolutely never been touched, scoop and score touchdown, and they blew a whistle that sounded like it didn't happen. But whatever, it didn't. You move on. It didn't matter in the end. But overall, I mean, the Saints' offense is just it's not going to benefit from a new quarterback going in. I just don't think it stems from this being the rock bottom place that you are. Like you need to draft better, you need to get better talent and go from there. But like the fight the defense had. I didn't talk about the Bucks too much. They got a win going into the bye week. They didn't run the ball well again. They didn't throw the ball well again. They just created timely turnovers and converted points off those turnovers. They didn't play good football, but they won the game, so you should be proud if you're a Bucks fan.
Absolutely. Again, an extra number in the win column is all that matters at the end of the day in the NFL. But good job, Bucks. I don't care. That's all I have to say about you. The Saints. That's the team that I'm interested in what they do at the quarterback position going forward. Because I know me and you definitely disagree on what they should do. For
Mm-hmm.
those, I think you were probably able to decipher it based off of what Matt
You're
was
saying
saying.
it's time.
Um, yeah, I'm saying it's Matt. Matt is saying that like no, you go back to Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
I I understand your thought process. You reconsider it. 2 weeks from now, after the bye or going into the bye, when you have a little bit more of a smooth transition here. But it is just so hard to go back. Like once you do that and you bench him and you're like, oh no, we're getting the rookie in. It is just hard to go back from that and saying like, no, we were kidding. We're joking. We still believe in you, Spencer Rattler, and it's just really really hard to do that. And I think at this
Mm-hmm.
point you weren't really getting much on offense to begin with, so might as well let's see what the rookie has. Neither of these guys, obviously, unless Tyler Shuck magically turns into Drake May for the final 10 weeks of the season,
Yeah.
neither of these guys are going to be your franchise quarterback moving forward. But can you at least get a guy on the offense that can bring a little bit more life. Not that like Spencer Rattler has been awful. Like he's been a fun storyline and has definitely played better than I expected him to. But again, there's still been so much offensive struggle with him in there. Might as well see what the Rook has, and that's kind of where my thought process is with the entire quarterback situation
It
with the
was one of those
Saints.
things where it was like I don't know how to like without sounding like stupid, but like I wanted him to come in and just be like reckless with the football. I just wanted him to
Yeah,
come in and be like, I'm just gonna push the ball down the field for no reason. Because what are they gonna do? Bench me too? Like I just wanted to see him come in like and see what happened because I guess this is just the more offense with these two young guys that it's just going to operate within 15 yards. I don't love it. I really don't. And they get their timely shots, and he misses the shot down the right sideline to Shaheed late in this game. That I think if that happened, if he gets that one, I think that's the one that like Saints fans are
yeah,
going, all right, you can't make the switch now. Like he's hitting the deep shot. But just for the most part, like I just wanted to see him come in and kind of just rip the ball down the field and see what happens. But for the most part, I'll say this. I don't think there's a wrong answer. Whatever answer they go with, I'll accept it and be fine with it because
agreed.
either I'm getting more Spencer Rattler, which I think is the better option and the better, plausible, like, get us through the season option, or B, I get the option of Shuck, who you spent the 40th overall pick on and you clearly believe in, and you get more reps under his belt. So either way, I'm not going to complain with whatever option happens. It's just I kind of stray on the side of what I already know and what I've seen from Spencer Rattler that I think is like passable. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe me thinking this is passable, like they're 1-7, is the wrong way to think. But hey, Tankathon has them at the number one pick, guys. All right. If they don't win again, they'll be the number one pick. So just think about that. for future.
Fernando
But
Mendoza.
uh, that is it for the recap show. Ben,
Whoa.
do we have anything to finish off on? I guess get us out
Yeah,
of here
yeah.
with.
You teased it last week. We'll tease it a little bit. Brian Kelly fired just like on a Sunday. They were just like middle Sunday, and it kind of seemed like it was trending that direction because there were reports that like they sent like supporting staff and like position coaches home, and then like an hour later it was like, oh, Brian Kelly's actually
Yep.
fired too. Uh, it's just these jobs, man. Again, they continue to open up. This has to be like the highest turnover rate like ever at this point. I just have never seen a football season like this. I'm interested if like at this point he just like hangs it up or if he's like, no, I'm gonna go to Nebraska, like which isn't a completely real possibility at this point too. A bad one, but a real possibility. I'm just interested what the future holds for both the Tigers and Brian Kelly.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, this is a guy who like you think about why Billy's fired, and you think about why like we want want Norvell kind of fired, and then like I
Kind of.
think what gave LSU the kind of stones to do this is like Penn State did it.
Yeah.
But then you think about Penn State, and it's like Penn State went from like they went to misery, like straight to misery. Like losing to UCLA and Northwestern is straight to misery. That is why they fired their head coach. Where LSU is like I mean, they lost at night to A&M, who is might be the best team in the SEC. So it's like
Yeah.
you just think about the standard that is set with this program, and everybody talking about how within 4 years the last like three head coaches have won national championships. So it's like the clock is on for Brian Kelly, like blah blah blah. It's just someone said it really well. This was a shotgun wedding. This was a marriage that happened in a chapel in Vegas, and everybody thought it would just go well. The girl was really pretty, but it just did not go well. And I think this is best for everybody. I think this gives, again, with the way his buyout is set of north of 50 million, there is again mitigation to the buyout, similar to Franklin, to where if he finds another job, he'll you can kind of take the difference, and so it's not as damning to LSU. But interested to see what happens. I mean, you said it. I mean, it's another major job with a lot of money and a lot of like eager fans to win national championships. This isn't last year where it's like, hey, like North Carolina, you think of North Carolina as like the number one job, or West Virginia. It's like West Virginia was hoping to like hey, maybe we get bowl eligible and maybe we're like in the hunt for 8 wins and win the Big 12. Now you have like four jobs right now that are like, we want to win the championship. We want to make the
Yeah.
playoff every year. We have the spending power to make the playoff every year. So I'm interested to see how those job searches go. And again, like just it's another high profile job, and for Kelly, if he wants work, he'll find it. He just will. Like it's a business of he has coached a long time, and whether I like him as a person or not, he is successful. He is successful, and he has won a lot of football games at the college level, and we'll see if someone gives him that opportunity and if he looks for that opportunity. But yeah, fun to hit on it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll dig more into that. That'll come out to you guys Wednesday morning. That college corner will be the last pre-recorded college corner for a
Yep.
little bit now. Uh, Still in the typically college corner will be recorded live going forward after this week on Tuesdays. We're still workshopping it for the following week. It's my birthday that Tuesday, so Lord
Yep.
knows what we're gonna end up doing. But yeah, it'll be the last pre-recorded one, and then live. You guys will be able to kind of interact with us a little bit more in terms of College Corner and whatnot. But just a lot of exciting stuff down the pipeline for NFL, for College Corner, and all that stuff. It's gonna be great. And hopefully, next week's NFL slate won't be as snoozy as this one was.
Okay, before we get out of here, I do like because we did this the last two times. We did it with Florida and we did it with Penn State. But like, who do you think they go after? I know I don't just say Lane.
I mean, my brain always defaults to one person in particular, especially when it comes to these programs these big programs, and it always is going to default to Summerall every
Okay.
single time.
Yeah.
It is no matter what job he has, because he's going to take one of these big jobs. It will be a big jump from where he is now at Tulane to where he's going to be coaching next year. But again, Lane is that name that's getting circled around. A lot of rumors. We'll get into that in College Corner about all of that. It's a very weird situation, but it's Summerall. Like I would be just shocked if one of these big times programs do not reach out, and like I would be shocked if Summerall is not a head coach at one of these big P4 schools at this point, because he is just he's a football guy, and he's a football genius at that too. And I'd be interested in it. That being said, I
I'm
don't want to make this
really
a Summerall like
yeah.
I don't want to make this like a Summerall podcast, but like I do think a fun transition would be like if Mandy Diaz gets hired somewhere and then Summerall goes to Duke and links back up with Mensa. Like that would be a lot of fun, but again, there would be a lot of weird coaching turnover, which we will see. Like Matt Rule getting hired somewhere out of Nebraska, and then another coach going to Nebraska. And now that job is getting opened, and it's just going to be a lot of like these domino collateral effects that we're going to see across college football.
Which we just didn't see last year. We just didn't see any of this.
Yeah.
I'm I'm just eager to see. I am eager to see like where is Lane Kiffin, because there is just I will continue to see the Oxford baby blue on him until
Yes.
there is a moment that he is on a podium somewhere else. And so
Yeah.
if that domino does happen and he stays at Mississippi, I think that stalls a lot of people, specifically Florida more than anybody else. And I'm interested to see who goes the Elko route. Who goes that route? Who goes the I just want a damn good football coach route, and see if it pays them dividends like it's paying A&M right now. Because like I can mock A&M until I'm blue in the face, because I'm a Longhorn fan, but like the 8-4 jokes, the guys 8-0 this year, and they lost how much NFL talent last year? Like what they have done there, specifically him and how he's turned that around into like an SEC championship expectation. I'm interested to see if LSU, who just lost to that on the field, is like, we got to go get that guy. Not him specifically, but we got to go get a guy who is just intelligent and can work in culture right away and just wins football games. And I'm interested to see which one of these really big programs does go that route. But we spent some good amount of time talking about college football, but that is all for the Week 8 recap. Again, Ben plugged it perfectly. Wednesday mornings is when College Corner, if you're a fan of college football, if you stay till the end here, talking college football. And then if you want to see the preview shows live Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. We do them with Ryan, who is also on this channel as well. Just ton of fun. Go around the room talking ball. And this week, I believe, is the big trade deadline thing, like that we're doing this week.
Mm-hmm.
Talking all the trade plausibilities, talking some names
Yeah.
to throw out there who could be moved at the trade deadline. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the Pigskin Project.